So coming off of that PlayStation 6 news, we also have a litany of rumors swirling around the internet about the upcoming next-gen Xbox console. While we haven't gotten the same level of official news coming out of Xbox as we did with PlayStation, that hasn't stopped a bunch of people from talking about the upcoming hardware in leaks and rumors recently, and of course, gamer drama. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll stop wasting your time. First things first, if you remember about 3 months ago, Xbox and AMD both posted videos to their YouTube channels, kind of confirming their partnership with each other going forward on the next-gen Xbox hardware. One from Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox, and another from Dr. Lisa Su over at AMD. Once again, not a whole lot of information to go off of here. They're basically just saying they're going to be working together in the future. If you guys remember, they actually worked together on the Series X and Series S, so I'm not super surprised that they'd be continuing that partnership down the road. Before we move on though, I did want to mention that Microsoft is still a part of the BDS boycott, who is assisting Israel in their genocide of the Palestinians. That being said, we move forward to last Friday, which would be October 3rd, when internet leaker Sneaker SO said this over on NeoGAF. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing, with a significantly honed-in focus on profitable IPs, COD, WoW, Minecraft, Candy Crush, and Forza Horizon. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, which will continue to drive its price tag higher. BTW, they aren't done there just yet either, and releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. And while this information isn't directly corroborated by Tom Warren over at The Verge, he did say this on the Xbox Era podcast.
He knows a lot of what goes on internally, so I don't think he's ad source.
Now, considering that we've heard recently big retailers like Costco are going to stop stocking Xbox consoles entirely, keep in mind that Xbox has sold half the units PS5 has at 32 million units according to VG charts back in May of this year. It's not entirely surprising to see big retailers like Costco not want to stock these on their shelves if they're not making money off of them, as well as Xbox raising the prices of their hardware and things like Game Pass with potentially more price hikes to come in the future. It's not entirely surprising to see why these retailers might be getting scared off. Then, only a day later, we hear from our old friend Kepler2 over on NeoGAF after a user asked him if Xbox would be scrapping their next-gen hardware, kinda like they did with their in-house handheld. As far as I know, the handheld was cancelled because AMD wanted a commitment of 10 million plus units to justify making a dedicated SoC, but with Steam Deck only selling 5 million units and Asus ROG/Lenovo Legion only selling 1 to 2 million, MS doesn't want to take the risk. And keep in mind that later on down in this thread, he does say that the in-house handheld was in a much earlier phase of development than the next-gen Xbox console, so it makes sense that they'd kind of want to see that through to the finish line. Unfortunately for Kepler2 though, Jez Corden over at Windows Insider had this in response to him. This isn't even slightly true, BTW. Funny enough, the day right before that, he had actually responded to another user on Twitter about the next-gen hardware saying this: the plans outlined by Sarah Bond and AMD multi-year partnership for first-party hardware, they're still the plans as of right now. But the fact that the rumors are so plausible showcases a real issue with faith in Xbox. He also went on to further break down this information in an article that I'll leave down in the description for you guys. While this could sort of be a he said she said type situation, I am inclined to believe what Jez is saying here, considering his resume, history of breaking news stories like this, and his litany of trusted resources around Xbox and Microsoft. In fact, the same sources that he used to break the news for the Series X and S hardware are the same ones that are giving him the information now, saying that there hasn't been any changes in Xbox's plan going forward. That being said, it's more than understandable why people would be skeptical of Xbox right now and why they'd be kind of questioning what they're doing and what's going on behind the scenes. 2025 in general has been filled to the brim with really bad Xbox news. It seems like every couple weeks we're getting a new layoff, a new studio closure, a new game cancellation, price hikes, etc. In fact, most recently, Xbox just raised the price of Game Pass by 50%, with Kepler2 saying there's potentially more price hikes to come down the road, and with them raising the prices of old Xbox hardware. Once again, the Series X is $650 right now, pricing most casual gamers out of the hobby entirely. Jez goes on to kind of echo this sentiment in the end of his article that I'll read here for you guys. Gaming is not a necessity or a utility. It's driven by sentiment and fun feeling. People need to to also feel good about where they play, and Microsoft is making it incredibly hard to feel good about Xbox right now. It's clearly reaching a crisis point. Keep in mind it's not just Xbox struggling with this change in the market right now. PlayStation and Xbox have both been releasing first-party titles on each other's consoles, basically ending the console war, and with things like AI becoming more prevalent in our favorite entertainment medium, it's very easy to sit here and just kind of doom and gloom about the future of the gaming industry as a whole. While playing Gears of War on your PlayStation is really cool, and I personally kind of like to see these barriers breaking down and us being able to release these first-party titles in other spaces, clearly they see a market for it, considering they get way more copies sold when it's not only on PlayStation, but it's on PC and Xbox too. It's hard to deny that the gaming industry is clearly having trouble finding its footing in this current day and age though. I tend to lean towards the idea that this is just kind of the changing market. There's obviously a lot of people like me who have been growing up with games their whole lives, and they're having trouble bringing new people into the space. And while I don't necessarily think we're looking at the beginning of the end for the game industry, I'm curious what this whole thing is going to look like 10 years from now, hell, 20 years from now. Basically, anyone with eyes can see that the video game industry is just not blowing up in the same way that it was 10 years ago. In my opinion though, even with the game industry changing, this is clearly Xbox's fault. They not only have been gobbling up studios, own half of the developers in the entire industry, and have been closing studios and canceling games left and right, and considering Xbox seems to be completely and utterly out of touch with what their audience actually wants, and they've sort of pigeonholed themselves into having to keep these big tentpole games up like COD to actually make money, it's not hard to see why they would be struggling and kind of freaking out right now. From the sounds of it, we won't be seeing Xbox exit the game industry anytime soon. Obviously, they still do make quite a bit of money out of that wing of Microsoft, but I do think long term we're going to see them turn more into a publishing house and maybe even entirely quit doing hardware altogether. Once again, I don't think this is going to be anytime soon. We're looking at, a decade down the road from now, but it's hard to see where Xbox is going to end up finding their footing in the current game industry. What do you guys think though? As more of a PlayStation and Nintendo fan, I tend to lean away from Xbox, especially in the last decade or so, but I know I have quite a few Xbox diehards in the comments down below, and I'd love to hear what your guys' opinions are. Obviously, that was a lot to chew on, so if you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. Anyway, I'm Brandon. This was the story all about Xbox's next-gen hardware, kind of the drama surrounding the industry as a whole, and kind of taking a look at what Xbox is going to be doing next. Thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass week.